Okay, great. Well, I think we should get straight to it. Thanks for everybody for being here today. I really appreciate the time you've taken and the effort to just be in a Zoom webinar with us. Our main focus, as you know, is all about quality. What I'm going to do is just share my screen, get into my PowerPoint, and we can go through the whole process. So we're obviously talking about a lot of things here, and what will help us to understand and identify is what our needs are. And it's good to take a need, analyze it, and then build a use case for it. So I'm going to go through a little bit of a presentation first. You'll notice I've just popped up a new poll, and I'm wanting to understand from you what kind of information you're looking at knowing about in this driving session. We are kind of limited for time, but let's try and quickly see, out of the tools here, which ones do you not, or do you want to know about? Okay, you've already told me that you have a good knowledge on checklists and registers and the tools, but not really about quality. So what I'd like to do is let's skip past 360's wheel. You've seen the wheel, you understand what it looks like and how it interacts with everything in the system. But we need to take it to a new step, and it's what Fourth Industrial Revolution is doing for us. And this impacts the way that we manage quality. So as an impact to business and to local government and to continental management, we do need to realize that we play a big part in this life cycle. And it's an important step because all of these pieces fit together in a big puzzle. So what I'm seeing from the poll already is that there's a lot of need for dashboard discussion, registers and checklists. Now, within a quality system, I think when we get to that, it'll be great to understand what kind of industries you're in. So I think let's start off by just posting what kind of location you're coming from. So do you mind just using the chat service and sending me a message and just putting your country or your location in? I'll also send one too. I'm from there at the moment. Good. Well, I'll start to see them coming in. It's no rush for them. It'll just give me a good context of where the location is. We have about like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So 9001 has clear definitions of what we want to achieve, and this is to integrate a IMS solution. So what do our customers need to know from us? What do we need to do from a process safety perspective within our organizations, even if we're just an office-based company working with computers, to a company rolling out fiber? What we've done and developed is to understand non-conformance management, understand forms, checklist, campaigns, and what have we done in terms of customization within the more than safety ton of topic. And now, with the kind of people that are on the call today, it is good to know that what we are achieving here is literally taking a piece of paper, like this one over here, and making this into something that's usable. So I held up a business card. That's where I am at the moment. And what to know about that specific card, it means a lot. To know about my wallet would mean something. So just show you, there's my wallet, and it's got cards in it, etc. So what I'm going to try and quantify for you is how we take a process of taking a card out and swiping it to tapping it on a payment portal. Now, we're not there yet. I am dyslexic, so I do apologize for that. But let's go through what's our main key points. So it's kind of 50-50 on a dashboard, registers, checklists, the InTouch CRM forms, thank you, campaigns and document control. Great, so I think let's start with the dashboard. I'm going to dive in because all of that stuff I can show you, from the live system. Great, so let's go into dashboard. This is a normal URL. I'm going to stop the poll for now, have a look at the comments. It's great to know those. Just raise your hand if you can hear me and see my screen. Cool, thanks guys. Good. Great. So in quality, we've got a quality dashboard. I'm trying to find where the screen is for the quality dashboard. Oh yes, it's in flags and status reports. So this is your normal dashboard. You can see here, that's literally where I am. And quality has its own little subsection. So you are welcome to be using your own systems and logins right now of the people that are in. It'll make a bit more sense when you're clicking around. If you don't have a login, just raise your hand and I'll make sure that someone gets one to you. Okay, thanks. So what you'll notice in our quality dashboard is it first sets everything up by regions. And those regions are quite important to us. We want to understand where our major non-conformances are. And that's particular in case of a CEO coming into a boardroom and wanting to talk to his HODs, what's happening in our marketing and sales department, what's happening in our safety operations department, okay? And these are two legit observations within our own organization. And we're very transparent and we want to keep it that way. So understanding that we still need to learn how to communicate internally is important. Understanding that we still need to go through our processes is important. And those are specific things that we've got into place. So currently there's only one open NCR, and if you hover over it, it's awaiting attention. So that's why it says awaiting attention. Same thing with attending. These are being attended to. Dependencies are things that are responsible to people to help what isn't attending. So if we've got one issue, there might be 3 dependencies for it. Similar with progress, a root cause analysis, and closed actions. Now, at the end of the day, we want to obviously take open through the cycle, do a root cause, and close them. So you'll notice we haven't got any closed yet. This little grid here, if you're confused about the grid, it just shows you a quick view of what this looks like. So what's the NCR number? Where was it in my business? What's the tool what was the finding? When it was found and when I'm trying to remediate it. And that's important from the life cycle. This last little pie chart over this side is my NCRs, and those are showing the number of actions I need to do, so specific actions for me, HOD roles, if I was a closer, and if I'm going to have a root cause analysis. Now, of the guys on attendance, do you understand the concept of an HOD? Just raise your hand. HODs and root cause analysis, do you understand those two things? If you do, just raise your hand. Cool. Thanks. So, in terms of understanding it better, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of hands raised. Let's just go through there. Okay, so our 2 people that are important within a quality management system is an HOD and the HOD's second in command, if you can call that a champion. And there's a lot of words that you can use to describe this person. Sometimes it's an assistant, but in quality, it's good to give a name to it. So giving champion is good. HODs are people who have got big responsibilities. And in bigger organizations, depending on your organogram, you can actually go all the way up to an EHOD. So you're looking at, I don't know what the letter E means, but I think it's big. So I'll go and say an environmental HOD. So environmental HOD would report to, let's say, a country. A country would then go and split out into the regions, and the regions back into smaller and smaller divisions, as we know with the companies we're working for. Now, if I am talking too fast, also just raise your hand repeatedly so I know that you're trying to give me a high five, and I'll stop a bit. But yeah, those are the 2 differences. Are there any questions regarding what the NCR roles are? So champion, HOD, and a SHEC manager. Just pop them into the Q&A at the bottom. You'll see you can always ask questions, and I'll be able to answer them as we go through the drive session today. Cool. I think that would sum it up. The last person on the list there is a SHEC manager, and the real reason we do SHEC manager is because you could have a spelling mistake. There could be an action that needs to be reassigned to somebody, or let's say a root cause analysis was asked by a certain person in the business and it needs to change. That root cause analysis can be changed. Okay, so back to the dashboard. I also can show all the my responsible NCR. So this tally here of the 2 items are actually the same thing for me. So I don't have 4 things to do, I just have 2. I need to, in this instance, it's obviously really bad. I need to be an actioning HOD and I need to do a root cause. But this is what it's about. Great. Yeah, so just pop any questions in the Q&A or the chat if you'd like to. Cool. Are there any questions regarding the dashboard? I think that summarizes our dashboard. Great. So, Kavilan, do you want me to connect you into the dashboard and you become a panelist so you can talk? Just raise your hand if you want to do that. Okay. Okay, Kavilan, what was your question there? If you see, you can now use your mic. Would you like to ask a question? Yeah, go for it.
There's no question, Mark.
Okay, sorry, I thought I saw your hand there.
No question.
Cool. Sapit, I saw your hand come up. Do you have a question at all?
No, Mark. It was just you were speaking a bit fast there, and our connection here is kind of shaky.
Okay.
So I'm cutting you off.
I'll go slow. No worries. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, man.
Great. So yeah, our team is also on standby to help at any time. We've got a whole implementation team that is raring to help you with your implementation of 360. So if you've got any questions for them, also just let us know. Let's move on to registers. And I'm glad that some of those questions came up, because in registers, there is a quality section. And you'll notice there's quite a few different items in the register. And now the clarity that we should actually give here is that there are two types of registers. The one is a register that's automatic. So in safety, you'd have an emergency drill register. So let's create an emergency drill, make sure it's followed out, and then import the information into our status report for remediation. Because we all know what the status report does, the workflow is very simple. We add something to the workflow and you fix it, just like the dashboard here. To find a fault, internal training, we look at the status report, what's the information, and what are we doing about it? Now, what that can do for us is it means it's collecting data. There was one slide that I want to show you right in the front. It is our big data slide. And there's not enough space on this little spreadsheet, or sorry, this presentation, thinking in Excel again, to show you what big data we have. And the only means to getting this data is obviously putting good data in. So good data means good data, good input, good data. So those two aspects are important for us because they allow us to scan a QR code to identify how many non-conformances are against somebody, but also how many non-conformances were raised by somebody. So if you think about a quality non-conformance, we might actually want to go and say, in my registers, quality and processes, perhaps these are automatic. Perhaps personnel is an automatic register, because all we're doing here is we're saying, I've got a qualification that I need to have. I need training. When is the training happening? And you'll notice this. I'm actually shooting from the hip here. I don't know when to use this specific register. But at the end of the day, it's when was the person employed? And we've got that data. So if you can conceptualize that we've got this information and we want to apply it to a type of register, then you can have an automatic register. Okay, are there any questions regarding registers? No, I'm not going to ask for questions anymore. I'll look for hands. If anyone raises their hand, then I'll slow down and go through something. So let's go back to checklists. That's the next one. When building a checklist, we head over to Organization Workspace, build a checklist. This then lets us build a checklist that we can create for a certain type of category. So we could have one, you can see a client visit log. This is specific for implementation. Do we have any quality ones? No, but we are looking at finalizing some of these. So here's a start of implementation checklist. So because we're looking at this kind of checklist, I see it's still pending. These are finalized. Let me go and show you one that's ready to be taken. Because what this allows us to do is say, I'm going to complete a checklist. Let's go into our available checklists, look for quality. Okay, good. I don't have one. I should actually create one. Let's do a vehicle checklist, one of the simplest ones to do. I've clicked on preview, and this allows me to go and check all these questions. Go, no, go, not applicable. And obviously in this case, what we've set the system up to be is when doing a checklist, answering this question, we're looking for the no-go to be our flag, similar to getting it into our status report. So because you can build your own checklist, your checklist will just contribute to your ecosystem from a quality perspective. Okay. The InTouch CRM is the next on the agenda. To use it, there are two URLs that we use. We use intouch.safety360.coza, and this URL can be white labeled. This becomes your CRM to the outside world. It asks you, what are you going to do today? Are you going to submit feedback? Are you going to track tickets? Are you doing a survey? Like, you'll have stages of processes, right? If I go on and submit feedback, this feedback is now going to come to my demo. But what we've done in the CRM is to allow you to select an industry and a channel with some feedback. So in this industry, I want to put a service request in, and this is my feedback. And now what businesses are doing, like the likes of Altron Nexus and CryoSave and Logic Trials and Pharma Logistics, have identified key areas that were pinch points. And I need data at that certain pinch point that will bring it into my system so I can get the clarity needed and sort it out. The clarity for InTouch is this specific region. So how many tickets do I have coming into my business? What are they involving? Where they're coming from? Who are reporting them? And what's it actually about? So this comes back to understanding a root cause analysis. And I'm glad that a lot of people know about root cause, because that's the underpinning of quality. Something's failed and I need to fix it. I need to put a corrective action in. I need to put a preventive action in. So what you'll get here is a pie chart of the various channels that have got feedback. You'll have your average customer satisfaction and what level it's at, how many tickets you've assigned to somebody, and the average turnaround time. What InTouch does allow us to do is see what's coming in. So currently 360 is also using Safety 360. Sorry, Safety 360, the business, is using S360, the product. And we're using it to manage a couple of clients. Now, we're not doing it yet for InTouch because there are a couple of links that we want to go and automate. And we're working closely with Altron Nexus and the Altron Group now to work out how this can impact their local business, which just makes what an InTouch, or let's call it a plugin, gets improved. Because this CRM is so flexible that you can, we're going to talk about campaigns in a second. You can go create a campaign, publish it on the web, and see results in seconds. And I've timed myself in terms of generating artwork, a very clear message, questions, and it was rolled out in 20 minutes. The 22nd minute was when our data start hitting the server. And that's when your reporting is lit. It's so quick and so advanced that you can maintain your brand message from an Outlook. You can go and look from where you come in. Let's talk about a dashboard, and you want to ask a question about how many incidents are in your region. The minute you get the flag to say, I've got an incident at a specific level, that flag will come into your campaign. And that talks about behavioral-based safety a lot. But let's get back to InTouch. We have clients, industries, channels, and personnel management. What the InTouch CRM does for us is it lets us attribute specific people for a channel. So a channel being improvement or a service request, and an industry like advanced manufacturing or telecommunications or drilling. So this allows us to grow a small team into a fully functional, let's say, a seatless environment. You're able to go and say with 5 people or with 20 people, I can service a full group from sitting at a knock level. So you have a knock level, which is eyes in the sky, almost like an eagle or a hawk. And you're looking over to see what's going on in your region. And your region could be Gauteng, or your region could be Africa. And I do notice that we've got some of our clients here calling in from telecommunications industries. And what this means for you specifically is you can have a quick view of all of the, let's say, negative feedback when fiber is rolled out, or the negative feedback when things are hit. So for example, you could set up a QR code and put it onto your signage when you have a drilling or when you have a digging or even a maintenance. And when your clients then go and scan it and submit feedback to you, the automation that happens in the background will basically enhance the data, look for duplicates, and assign it to the right people, which is this channel and industry. So if that doesn't make sense to you, just please do raise your hand or ask a question, because I want to move over to forms and campaigns, because those are our two crunch points. I'm going to relaunch one of the polls just to get an indication from you, if you've just joined us, of anything in the list you want me to go over specifically. And while you're doing that, let me get ready with forms. Forms is really advanced. If you can think about what you could do with forms in 2018 and what it does now, it's two different things. Let's take you through to a form. A form could look like this: either an app that has a couple of features in it to write a comment or select from a radio box, or it can have this plethora of information. You can have a one-liner, a text area, and I know there's a bit of data that's not very useful to you, but check down at the bottom here. The things in red are what we're currently working on, but you'll be able to do a screen share. You're going to be able to do device control through a very simple process of connecting a phone to the internet and a laptop to the internet, or let's say an input device to the internet. And those two input devices will be able to connect each other. You can do signatures. For example, this is the format that we're now working with a big telecommunications provider to enhance the SWIMS request. The same thing if you want to go and change a document over and over and over again. There's something to just having the first version, let's say the digital version, but something to having the digitalized data, because that data sits in the cloud. It can even sit in your private cloud or your own public cloud, but it sits there and it waits to be used. And oftentimes we actually are saving the wrong data, and oftentimes we are saving too much data. But consider that with a form, you can scan a barcode that's generated from 360. Or with a form, you could take a checklist, but not need to use our generic no, go, and not applicable. You can go and put in, you can include yes, no. You can say high, low. You can give it scores. You can make it create PDFs. So there's a lot of enhancements that a form can do for your business. You can also request things like, I've put here selfie mode. What if you asked your staff members to do attendance and requested a selfie mode from them? Where they are, I want to know your location and your face. Is it you? Because that's your face. And where you are, it's location. And it's what we do with our teams. Let's have a quick view of where everyone's at. So go to 360 Tools, Team Location. This is not really a quality issue, but I want to show you what the potential from using a form is and how simple it is to use. So I'm not going to show you those too much. Let's zoom out. This is where I am at the moment. Great, so we've got a couple of people in Pretoria, quite a few people down here. Cool, that's good. It's showing that it's being used. But see what you can do with this data. Data is crucial to understand in an emergency. This is my knock. This is understanding where my teams are right now and flying with it. What do we do with the data? If we were having, let's say, a riot in the Northwest, we're okay. So in your regions, specifically to the guys who are just joining us now, you can have an overlook, or let's call it an outlook. Sometimes you do need to borrow some words from the Microsoft suite. So your outlook would be this. What am I going to do with the data? That's up to you. I've shown my team that it's not about a policing situation. It's literally from an emergency services situation and the OSH Act. Know where your people are, because if you want to get a PLI signed off, then you need to make sure that they were safe on the job. Okay. I do run off at a tangent sometimes. So is everyone up to speed with what I've taken you to from a forms perspective? Do you get it? You okay? Just raise your hand if you if you feel that you understand forms very well. Thanks. Cool, thanks for the hands there. There's so much that we can do with forms. And the brilliant part is it just is literally a PDF away from doing a risk assessment with your own methodology. So you don't even have to use the 360 methodology. So there'll always be a default, I can assure you that, but you don't have to worry about it. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I do have a cool link. Let me just stop sharing my screen for a bit. Is everyone okay? Do you guys want to have a smoke break or have a loo break? Just raise your hands if anyone needs to stop. I'll do a tally and then we can choose what to do next. We only have about 10 minutes left, guys. Okay, we're good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a URL and then show you where it comes back into. We're currently creating a campaign for Safety 360 Business. And obviously, we would use S360 for it. Okay, so on this side, I'm just logging in, then I can show you the campaign. I do have some sensitive data that I can't show you. I do notice that there's one person wanting document control. I think I'll find out who you are at the end of the poll and then just make contact with you. Okay, if there's anybody else, now's the chance to get an understanding of document control if you need to. Okay, you should see my screen again. Just logged into one of our client demos. So this data is accurate data. There were 2 campaigns created, Electro and Lesotho. You can see how many interactions there are. So remember the concept of seeing a bird's eye view to the real data. So I'm going to show you that next. So let's go and look at the Lesotho one, just because there's not many interactions, and I want to show you how we get a new interaction, what that would mean. Okay. So by setting up a campaign, I'm not going to take you through the creation because that's the simple guide approach. But what I was able to do is basically give a sharing message, a start image, an end image, a QR code, and then a link. So you'll notice we've got 3 interactions. Let's see the interactions here. So we've got a bit of a heat map again in Pretoria. So it should be happening in Lesotho, right? So now we can go and see why is our data a bit skewed, or was the mapping actually terrible? Let's go through one though. So this is the link. Let's take consideration of I've gone to a building and just scanned the QR code. There was some messaging around it that I could use. Welcome to the Vodacom Electrical Safety Awareness Campaign. It'll take you 2 minutes to fill out. Put my name in, my email, and I'm going to just put in a different feature. So let's go and say a contractor. I didn't know if that was an option. Contractor. Okay, let's just do that again. Okay, that's a bit of a bug, which is not a bad thing. Give me a sec. Okay, you should see it again. Okay, I'm going to move past this and send you a presentation to show you. I don't have time to go and look at what happened there. But the income is this. We've got, really, look at this, a really mean graph to show us that from May to July, we've had 2 interactions, and then data's come in. So these are the data pieces for the specific pledge. but you can also change what the questions are. So I'm going to show you another one, because I know this one is a dormant campaign. It was stopped. Let me show you an up-to-date one. Thanks so much for your patience there. I'm going to start from here again. I noticed there's not many questions. Does that mean I'm doing a good job, or am I not doing a good job? Just raise your hand if you think I need to just recap a couple of elements. And for the guys who've also arrived a bit later, are you okay? Do you understand how quality works within the features? You okay? Cool. Definitely have another discussion as well. Not a problem. Let's go and see here. Okay. So this is another dashboard. Let's go into campaigns. So the great thing about 360 is you're able to put together your own dashboards. And this is what has happened with a couple of our clients. They've changed the way that they make things look. This is the active campaign. Let's go and see what's happening on it. You'll notice that there's different messaging now as well. So we've got a start image, an end image, QR code like normal, and one interaction. Let's check where the interaction was. Okay, cool. So some test data in South Africa. I'm sure there's some more data. Let's check here. Okay, I must have wiped it out. Okay, so let's open up that pledge. Seems my internet is a bit slower than normal. Okay, so this is what their pledge looks like. So you get branded. We are going to work on ways to change the formatting. But again, that's all up to you as a client. So if, as clients, you want to use the pledging system, what we're going to be using for within Safety 360 business is to just ask guys how they feel the internals of our company is working, and that kind of thing, where you won't need to put a name in. Because if you put a name in here, that's when you know who was actually writing it in. So now I've got two options. I'm in other, let's say I'm in technology, and my regions is South Africa. My question is, how do you see safety? It's essential. To what extent is management committed to safety completely? Do you understand Nokia life-saving rules? Yes. How safe is the office place? Very safe. And what do you do with people who don't contribute well? Or do people contribute well? You can say they are passive. Let's say they contribute. By clicking next, we go through a little bit of feedback if you want to send some feedback. But what you'll see here is you've got an access to a let's say a user list system. I can share it. So this is a social share. So the campaign then can grow legs. The Nokia pledge, make a difference, branded, say something about it, is allowing you to make history itself. So when refreshing this page, the data is live. We have two people. And over here, we can see the two places that they're in, can see where the interactions were and what the information says. So yeah, I think that gives us a very good idea of what we can do with a form, what we can do with a campaign. And ultimately, we're closing the loop on it. We're giving it legs to grow. We're showing that we are compliant to ISO standards. And all of this is giving us tools that we can go to business and say, just open it up in mobile or just open it up on web. And this is what a form has allowed us to do. This is what a campaign has done for us as well, where we're able to scan an RFID chip or send an SMS to a system. So do consider what this means to you. Your business is the lifeblood of many people. And if we make sure that, and we are responsible with the data, make sure that people love their job, then we'll have a very long future. I really thank you for the time today. There's not much more to go through. So thanks so much. Document control will be discussed at a later in-depth stage, but it is a full document control management system. And it starts with simply listing what documents are you creating. So it's interesting. It's a very complex setup. There's quite a few issues to resolve. Numbering, obviously, of documents, the name, where it fits into the life cycle. Is there specific appointments that are going to be made with this document? Not, and what needs to be included? So it is a full system. We do add approvers. We put responsible people that would have to sign off. But yeah, I would ask that the one person that's interested in document control, I know who you are, and I think I'm going to give you a call after this meeting and just discuss it with you so that you can really see the benefit of it in your organization. Again, reach out on our website. We've got a great team who's just willing to take all your discussions, to understand your businesses, and also to take that as a business analyst and really identify what your key areas are. Thanks again for the time. And I really do appreciate you all coming in today. I hope you have a great weekend. All the best. Cheers.